Good afternoon, my fellow gardeners. This is South Carolina Transplant, also known as Martin, coming to you live from Zone 8A, the Piedmont of South Carolina, a steamy, hot Piedmont of South Carolina. Like most of the country, we are going through a heat wave. I think we're supposed to hit triple digits within the next few days, man, and I tell you, it feels like it. So I nestled myself under some shade here, and I'm kind of grateful for the little bit of shade that we have here. Most of our property is full sun. The sun rises from the east back behind me. It sets out during the west over in front of me. So every now and then we can cheat and steal a little piece of shade when we need to. On today's agenda, we have two plants that, man, this guy here, which is the verbena that we had in front of our garage, was infested with aphids, and they stressed the plants down all the way to the stems. I treated this pot with insecticidal soap. However, when this heat wave came through right after I treated with the insecticidal soap, this guy, I mean, within a week, he just went. Also, the same thing happened to one of our containers on the patio. I had a nice petunia arrangement in there. Unbeknownst to me, there were aphids. The plants didn't look bad at the time. It did have aphids. So when it gets hot like this, it is hard to get petunias and calibrachoas set in their plants. They have to be gradually brought up to this level of heat, right? But see, that's the beauty, and that's the reason I ran that extension section along the stairs along our back patio, because that little area gets a couple hours of full sun, but for the most part of the day, it stays in shade. Woo! I had to take a sweat cleanup break for a second here. So what we're gonna do today is this container, we're gonna clean out all the dead limbs. I conveniently set up right near my compost pile, so I'll just put those limbs in there. So once we get this container cleaned out, we're gonna move it over to the patio area where I have that drip extension ran. We're gonna set them there. We're gonna bring the other container over here, get that one set up. Then we're gonna install drip in both the containers. So folks, without further ado, see, there's a bunch of wildlife over here in my compost area. That's a good thing, not a bad thing. So what I like about the way these composts, I mean, these bins or containers are kind of flimsy, right? But what I do like is that because they're flimsy, I can just, just pop the top and just toss something in there without having to undo them. I have them tie wrapped down to ensure they don't blow away and supposedly prevent critters from getting in there, but all right. And I have to get out here and flip the compost one day. What I'm thinking about actually doing is, because I have the one in the rear partially full and I have this one partially full, so I may just add two more. So I'll be flipping two at a time as opposed to one at a time. So I may just do that, not more than that. I don't want a big compost. I don't want the stall. I originally wanted the stalls, but then I was like, it's not the look I want back here in this corner. So I'll just use four of these, get rid of all this other stuff. This is like my third iteration of composting I've had here. So, but I think I'm gonna stay with this. I like the convenience of it, and it's off in the corner, and I like the entire setup. Before I snip this guy out, I just want to make sure. Might have still had something living on there. I don't know. I'm starting to look at this and just think to myself, they're too far gone. But we have nothing to lose at this point. So how are you guys? Summer going so far? Have you started composting? How's that going for you? This is my first year trying it. It's a funny thing how I've come to composting, because I kept seeing videos come up on my feed about composting. I don't know if I, have looked at one in the past. Oh man, the petunia's gone. The petunia is like out, piece. Oh man, that's a shame. It was rooted in there great too. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so composting kept coming up on my feed, so of course I watched a few of the videos and I'm like, hey, I could do that. So that's how I came to this determination, on composting. That's got a little green in it. I don't know, folks. I might reset this pot container. will you get off of me? All right, that one's got some green, some all brown. And the shame about this, the way this happened is, you know, I filmed in my garden tour video just a week ago, and in the video I stated that, you know, these guys are on the comeback, and man, less than a week later, here we are. They just look weak. I might just pop something else in here just to, well, I don't know. The verbena I have on the patio that's healthy is real full, so if he retakes, he will look very good. You won't even know this even happening. So he's at the point where, these things keep sticking in my hand. He's at the point where he's gonna go one way or the other. He's on, in some places on the cusp of dying, and the other places like here, it looks beautiful. So, all right, go and inspect. Goodness. Might as well just not even touch these limbs. The last few just broke off so easily. All right, so I'm going to set this guy over on the patio area there. Then I'm going to grab that pot that's on the patio and we'll triage that one as well. So this is a nice thing about this particular drip setup. It allows me the opportunity to just, you know, if I need to just augment the setup, just come here and give myself as much line as possible. Snip that off, okay? Then a replacement plant will go here. What I think I'm gonna do, actually what I'm going to do, is Mrs. TransPlant had me buy her some daisies. So we're gonna put those daisies here, and then we'll put him over in the shade area of the patio. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna grab the daisies over there and bring them over here so you guys can get a feel for how they look here. I'm not gonna set them up right now with drip because I'm not working in the sun today, but I just want to give you guys a visual on how this corner is gonna look with the daisies. Ooh, Lord have mercy, it's hot out here. All right, same premise. Just go ahead and snip the drip line here. What am I doing? I pulled my thumb out to press the record button. Alrighty. Okay, he's free. Just put him on this caster right here. All right. Like I said, I'm not gonna hook up the drip because it is warm out here. Just give you guys a visual on how it's gonna look. I'm turning into quite the design kind of guy. Looking good. So my goal here is to do 100% reset on this container. New potting soil, fresh new plants, no recycled potting soil or anything like that. Just so what I'm gonna do is just dump them in my tub, my famous tub here, and then we'll keep on moving. And the reason I'm dumping him in the tub is I'm gonna sift out the potting soil and repurpose it at a later date, just not for this particular planting. And the creeping Jenny, it's gonna stay. Just gotta dig it out of there. It's a shame, you know, everything was set up perfect. The drip was scheduled to come on every day. The soil is moist and not wet, you know, and boggy. It's just IPM, you know, it's disease, you know, integrated pest management. But we have a lot of the season left, and why not just take advantage of just that? And that's exactly what we're doing, folks. Hey, maybe there's another IPM right there. Look at that. Doggone grub made its way in there. Fascinating. Soil's a little wet at the bottom, but again, drip has been going off every day. All right, I don't see nothing else going on. Get this out the way. All right, so now I'll go with fresh potting soil. I actually purchased this as a stopgap because I ran low on my repurposed potting soil earlier. So I ended up having to get a small bag of new mixing. Did I say compost? It's so hot. If I said compost, I meant potting mix. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. All right, and then I bought this fresh bag earlier this week. I never thought twice about how I cut bags open and stuff until I decided consciously this season to start repurposing potting soil. Now I make sure I get nice little straight edge so that when I want to go reuse the bag, you know, everything's in order. Just put this in here. And as you can see, I bought Stay Green. This is the Lowe's brand. I think it's just out this season for the first time, so just giving it a whirl. And this is the arrangement, Calipico arrangement I bought from said Lowe's. By its own. You know, I did this once years ago, and I don't know if you guys follow Gardening with the Williamses. I think they're out in the California area. I saw the gentleman on that particular video put a little bit of Miracle Grow in his container when he was setting it up, and it just triggered my memory, like, you know, I did that once before and it was successful. So we do that again as well. So a couple spoonfuls, not crazy. Speaking of Gardening with the Williamses, check out their channel. I didn't know that I had a particular quote-unquote style of gardening, but the gentleman's style is very similar to mine. I commented that on one of the videos and he responded. That was kind of cool. Time to plop the creeping jennies very rare that I get the potting mix almost just right. I better go out and play the lottery. All right. We'll get the drip ring in here some kind of way. Thinking to myself, I didn't explain what I meant about the indication of finding that grub worms. They are the larval stage of Japanese beetles. Grub worms feed on the tender roots of plants. They live beneath the soil surface. They feed on the tender roots of plants, and then they submerge deeper down into the soil before they later emerge as Japanese beetles. So that grub worm looked like he was spent, like it probably died in the soil. But who's to say there weren't more living in this container? And if there were grub worms in the soil, they have now evolved into Japanese beetles. I'm making another video on that right now. We have a Japanese beetle infestation and it is driving me crazy. I rolled the dice thinking because the last 2 seasons we have not had any Japanese beetles infestations. We've had like a few here and there, but not the all-out infestation that we were normally used to. So I kind of rolled the dice and said, hey, we didn't have them the last 2 seasons. I'm not going to pre-treat all my plants with Fertilome soil drench. And as a side note, Fertilome soil drench is a systemic formula that you water your plants with. It's systemic. The plants take it up in their root systems, basically inoculating them from Japanese beetles, from mites, spider mites, aphids. I will never do that again. I am never going to roll a dice. I'm always going to treat all my plants with Fertilome from here on out. Okay, so then this guy has drip set up. I have the setup drip for this guy, Japanese beetle. Ah, got one. You know what? I shouldn't have got that Japanese beetle because I heard if you step on them, you're just going to create, you're going to release a hormone, pheromone, and it could create more. I just thought about that. Oh well. So what I'm going to do is table this for now. I'm going to water this guy. I'm going to make up a drip ring for this guy. And then sometime in the AM, I'll just go ahead and come out and just hook these both up to drip. Good morning, peeps. It's pretty early in the morning and it is scorching out already. So where we left off yesterday is I placed these containers here on our patio. I usually only have one over here. This is kind of looking crowded to me. So what I'm eventually going to do is once the one with the calibrachoa is in it here, once he gets acclimated to this area, I'm going to move him into like a full sun area. I'll probably leave him here for maybe 2 weeks, just get him adjusted. It's kind of hard to get plants set up this late in the season just because of the heat. So since this is a part shade area, as you can see, it's relatively early in the morning. This area will get that pre-lunchtime sun between like 10:30 and like 1 o'clock. And then the sun shifts back that way and it'll be in the shade again. I think just that little bit of mid-morning sun will be just enough to kind of get it set so that I can put it back there behind you, which that part of the patio is all full sun. All right, so he already has a drip ring from the previous plant that was in it, so we have to create one for this guy, and we're going to terminate them to that distribution line on the ground, and they'll be an automatic watering and hopefully be happy. So this is a 1/4 inch emitter tubing. I think these are 12 inch, so every 12 inches on here, there is going to be an emitter. And what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to do 2 loops of these and then tee them, and you'll see what I'm talking about. And then I just kind of guesstimate it. And this way, I ensure that I get, full coverage in the center and along the edges. Just wanted to adjust the camera to make sure most of this is in the shot. I have a terrible habit of just running through things, and then I'll later look up doing editing, and I'm like, oh my gosh, my head's cut off. Oh, this is it. I'm just, I know it's not that big a deal to some people. I'm just a weird type of perfectionist kind of person. Okay, so then we're gonna put the T on here, and the T is gonna face outward, okay, because our drip line is gonna be connected that way. So, and you can try to push these on. I heat them up. I got something going on with my wrist and some arthritis, so I choose to do it the easy way. All right, and then that one goes there. Basically, that's going to be the same thing. Okay. And that one goes on there. And that's quite simply all I'm going to do. Find some landscape staples here. Hold them down. Just staple there. See how I'm using the bending motion against itself, and then sometimes what I even do, oh, got a plant under here. Oh, he's rooted twice. He's rooted there and there. So let that be. I was going to yank him out because he's rooted here and here. And then what I was about to say is what I like to do is just take a plant, you know, like a plant stem. If these were more firm, and just kind of use the plant stems for holding part of it down as well. All right, so now all we have to do, oh, I didn't ensure that my T is facing the back. That's something that I gotta do. Swing it around so my T is facing, because the distribution tube's coming that way, so I just want to make sure my T is facing the distribution tube, the main tube. So see, like here, you can take a loop, put it under a plant stem, like that. All right, that's that. So then now we'll put a distribution tube on here and a distribution tube on that one, and this setup will be done. Here's my set that I got off Amazon. I find that you kind of want to stay with the manufacturer's brand when you're buying the fittings and stuff like this. I'm able to make these work, but if I had to go back, since this is, I believe, Orbit, yeah, it's all Orbit, I would have gotten all Orbit fittings. When you start working with these, if you haven't already, you'll see that different manufacturers make these fittings differently, and some of the diameters are off a little. You can kind of make them work as I do when I heat them up and stuff like that, but I find that it's easier to just stick with the brand. So what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to pop on a little distribution tube. I don't know if that's in the shot. This tube, and then an elbow that goes down. Then let's search for an elbow. And also, this particular brand, it says Sustain. These are a little flimsy. I found that I'm able to break these too easy. So, you know, sticking with brand is important, and it differs in quality as well. Okay. All right. Then our next long tube is going to go down there to the bottom. I like my the ends of these to be straight, flush. That one's a little crooked. And then that's just going to feed down to that main distribution tube at the bottom. So I just kind of guesstimate it there. Give myself a little extra. Okay, we'll put it about right here. And then we're going to take our coupler. Going to see him on there. Okay. And we're just going to take our tube and heat it up. pop them on there. All right. And hopefully we got a good connection for that one. And then while I'm down here, I may as well go ahead and punch for the second one. And then we'll just heat up some tubing. And we'll just bring that pot over here, and then we'll just terminate the end of this into that pot. So this pot already has an elbow on it, so I have two choices. I can just go ahead and just cut this out and reuse this, or I can put a coupler here. So I'm just gonna just try to put my blade on here and cut that out. If you notice, I'm cutting away from my flesh and not towards it. And I can confidently do that, knowing that even if I have an accident, the accident is going to be away from my hand and not towards it. All right. And I'm sorry, folks, my energy level is not up to par. This is done with y'all before the heat kicked up, man. But I just sense my energy level is just not the norm South Carolina transplant energy level I normally have. Okay, that's it. Swing around there. Alrighty. The only thing left to do is just test it. All right, so we're gonna bring up the Orbit app. Okay, we're gonna look for patio containers. This is gonna be, I think this is gonna be Eastside Timer 1. Patio containers, and then we're going to do water manually. Then I have to select which zone I want to water manually. Patio containers. The default time is 10 minutes. I'm going to leave it there. Press the play button. All right. I can hear it over there screaming. I got to get that fixed. Okay. Got a little leak on that connection, but I'm not going to worry about that. So my gardening peeps, that's it for this small project. Thanks for coming along with me as I installed drip rings in our container that we reset and added some caliber colors to them. We also put one in our infirmary, which was our verbena. Hopefully we'll be able to rehab that one and bring it back to life. We moved the daisies over to this corner, and I think it's kind of a nice look, nice little pop of color. And we tested the system and everything's working as intended, and I'm quite happy. If you haven't done so already, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. It motivates me to put out more and more content, and I appreciate the engagement with you. Ladies and gentlemen, this is South Carolina Transplant, also known as Martin, coming to you live from Zone 8A, the Piedmont of South Carolina. Until the next one, friends.